COSTCO Stock. COST is the symbol. To me, COSTCO Stock is a true value investment. Continually increasing revenue, continually increasing earnings. And Costco stock, COST, continually increasing. It ebbs and flows as the economy moves up and down or expands and contracts. Unfortunately, the rest of the investing world knows this as well. So it's hard to find a time to buy Costco stock. It's overvalued relative to other stocks. If you're looking for undervalued value investments, Costco stock is not there. But there may be a turn in the economy. We may see stocks selling off somewhat, despite the fact that the economy is moving higher. What's happening is, since the economy is expanding, we're likely to see some pressure with interest rates, and that could pull stocks lower. For me, at these valuations, I'd probably be pulling the trigger on the sell button for Costco stock and looking to get back in, buying on any dips. Let's break down the latest financial numbers for Costco stock, COST. Let's jump into the computer. If you're just finding my channel for the first time, thanks so much for stopping by. First and foremost, I am an economist, and I break down the economy. Then I look at individual stocks as well and ask the question, how is the stock market or individual stocks going to perform within that economy? Make sure to hit the like and follow button down below if you're looking for this kind of content. I'm breaking down Costco stock. Now, I'm a value investor and I'm looking for long-term value investments, stocks I can buy, hold on to for about 10 to say 25 years left. Then I'm probably going to convert a lot of my money back into REITs and just kind of sit there on cash flow. Costco. Would I pull the trigger on Costco right now? No, I would not pull the trigger to buy Costco stock now. It's simply overvalued. If you actually own Costco stock, if you're one of those individuals who's been sitting on it for years, decades, whatever, you don't do anything. You just sit there and just keep owning that stock. But for those who are looking to make a move on Costco stock, this isn't the time. And it isn't necessarily the time to get into stocks in general, because we may be seeing a transition within the economy. More than likely, the Federal Reserve is going to have to push interest rates slightly higher, if but a quarter or a half a percentage point over the course of, say, the next, 3, 6, 9 months. Should be interesting, especially since we have an election coming on. But the economy is firing forward, which means Costco's revenue will continue to move upward. Now, I live in Santa Fe, New Mexico. We don't have a Costco here. Anytime I go down to Albuquerque, first, I'm a veteran. We have an Air Force base down there. I'm going to go in there. I'm an Air Force vet. Anytime I look for big ticket items, that's where I go. But Costco, I'll stop in there as well. I have a card for them, membership. Man, they get me every time. I go in there for one thing. And I'm at that age where at the end of December, I buy a package of underwear and a package of socks, and that's all I need. And that's exactly what I went in for to Costco. I came out of there with about 14 things. They get you every time. Here's a look at the 4-hour bar chart. And as you can see, we're kind of pushing higher. The stock market itself kind of sold off, but we got some retail sales numbers just this morning, and they showed how robust the consumer actually is. Because of that, retailers such as Costco would push higher. Their revenues are going to print nice in the next couple, whenever we get the next earnings release. We just got these earnings released back in late, I want to say about the 16th of December or something like that. Here's a look at the breakdown of the quarterly revenue for Costco stock. And as you can see, fairly consistent. There are some seasonal jumps higher with revenue. But the projected revenue is what I'm looking at and really going to focus on when it comes to asking the question, where will Costco stock be in a year or so? 253.9 for 2024 is what they're expecting. This higher than the 241 printed earlier in 2023. Margins, they don't really have much in the way of margins. Razor thin. They're just moving product. But the nice thing about Costco, that's something some individuals may not know about Costco, is their average product movement is like 14 days. which means when they buy from a supplier, they've sold that product before they have to pay their 30-day bill. So they're actually getting financed from their suppliers. If they can move two sets of supplies within a 30-day period of time, then pay it off, they're making money right there because they're basically not having to pay, not having to finance for those products up front. They can move that product fast enough, so fast they can move it 2 times before they have to pay the bill for the product, should there be 30-day terms. So margins are razor thin, they're pure volume. Operating margins, again, not much there, razor thins with that, and then net margins all the way down to 2.65%. But as you can see, they've been consistent quarter after quarter after quarter after quarter. And this is such an important factor when it comes to value investing with COSTCO stock. Here's the reason why. What can we reasonably assume COSTCO will do in the coming quarters and years? They continually have increasing revenue. They continually have the same margins. They continually have the same net earnings per share. So from that, we can reasonably assume, all else equal, COSTCO will perform exactly like that. This is why so many investors chase after COSTCO stock. Earnings per share, $3.58 in the latest quarter. Moving forward, looking at $15.61 for 2024 on the projected earnings per share for COSTCO stock. Price to earnings ratio, here it just kind of solidifies what they earn, the price that you have to pay for those earnings. We are kind of on an upslope, that there was a better buying opportunity for COSTCO stock just a year ago, effectively. Because of that, it's a little high right now, and if the economy does kind of push forward, COSTCO stock will probably continue to push upward, and that will be about where the Federal Reserve would need to kind of step in and say, listen, we might be a little too hot, let's raise interest rates, we're not quite there yet. And then COSTCO stock would probably trip a little bit. And it would be more so that some consumers wouldn't spend as much, COSTCO wouldn't hit as high of a number for their projected earnings or revenue, and because of that, the price earnings ratio would probably adjust. Let's break everything down. Price for COSTCO stock, $661.36. 2024 earnings per share projection for COSTCO stock, $15.61. Real simple math. You take the $15.61, divide that over top of the $661. Your yield for buying COSTCO stock today would be a whopping 2.36%. The benchmark U.S. Treasury bond, trading at the 10-year trading at 4.1%. You're getting almost twice the yield out of the U.S. Treasury than you would be getting out of COSTCO stock. Because of that, you wouldn't necessarily, from a value investment standpoint, buy COSTCO stock. You're waiting for some kind of pullback, and the economy may actually be doing that should we get any kind of higher inflation because consumers are spending too much, buying too many packages of socks and underwear at Costco. Here's a look at the U.S. 10-year Treasury yield, pushing a little bit back upward. The market got it wrong, and the market's turning right back around. Yields are moving a little bit higher. That could... Here's one final look at Costco stock versus the S&P 500. And I actually used SPY stock here. SPY stock, of course, is the ETF based on the S&P 500. Back in November, Costco stock on a percentage basis and SPY were at the same point. Now, SPY stock is up a whopping 10%, whereas Costco stock is up 20%. Now, there's 500 stocks in SPY stock, of course, and so that there's a little bit of variability as to some companies aren't profitable. Therefore, those stocks aren't going to be moving higher. But I think for me, the price to earnings ratio a little skewed too high. The yield not nearly enough. For my money, what I would be doing, I'd be getting into the U.S. Treasury yields because we'll probably start looking at some higher yields but eventually the Federal Reserve may have to back things off from that. That would, of course, push price higher, but we're a ways away from there. In the meantime, there's no margin of safety with buying into COSTCO stock. I love COSTCO stock. I think it's one of the great companies out there. Love the product, overvalued. Wouldn't pull the trigger based on the numbers today. Make sure to hit that like and follow button if you're looking for economic analysis, breaking down the stock market and individual stocks on a value investment standpoint. Hit that like and follow button. See you in the next video.